this. Hello, everybody. Go ahead, chat with me. Let me know that you're here. Happy Sunday. Let's see, is my mic on? Yep, my mic sounds nice. Check one. I am old school to the core. Y'all better know that. What was that? Salt and pepper? Hello, happy Sunday, everyone. Y'all know I've been in the lab, as I like to say, for a decent part of today, not all day. Really just working on some things, working on a few projects. And I want to talk about the 5 biz apps that are must-haves. And I thought I would do a tutorial, but I'm going to save the tutorial for those that are in my pivot group. So we have started a new group that is just for those that are looking for mentorship and business assistance, training, and just some tools to help you grow your business. That group is called the Pivot Group, and I will launch it in the next week or so. So I'm going to do some tutorials in that group on how to use these apps for effectiveness. And so I want to encourage you to get in the group, right? Get in the group, because that's where the magic happens. And we're just ramping up some things. And those that are a part of the group already, you know, we're making some changes. So you guys have been very patient in that process. And my team is screaming at me to get some things done. And that's what we're going to do. So hold on. Let me see if this light makes it better. This light makes it okay. So first of all, just to bring you up to speed on what to expect this week. This week, the Money Mindset Challenge. So I realized one of my automations wasn't running the way I wanted it to run. So my crew in San Francisco is fixing that today. Thank you, if y'all are on, for jumping in and taking care of that for me today. So I will officially email those that already provided their email address and let you know that it's ready to go, and to go through the full automation. Because what I want is for every morning at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever that time is, that you're going to get an email from me, and it'll be fully automated for you. So my apologies if you're already in and you're not getting that automation right now. You're having to click next day. And that's not how my course will work. So I don't want that to work like this. I want you to feel comfortable in the software. Hey, LaKendra, how are you? Hello. So that's the first thing, guys. You know, I've been talking money mindset for the last week or so. And I'm very serious when I say, if you don't get your mind right, you won't get your money right. And if you don't get your mind right, you will get your money sometimes, but you won't know how to hold on to it. And you won't know what to do when people start telling you how you should or what you should or all of these other things, because there is a total mindset shift that has to occur when you start reaching certain levels and certain plateaus. I remember when I put my daughter in private school, we had applied for private school in the process here in Atlanta, and she had been accepted at Lovett. And then we ended up moving to Alabama, back home to Alabama. And I said, well, you know, let me do went the public school route. And listen, to each its own. You got to decide what works best for you. But I'm telling you, we decided to move forward with the private school route after a year, 2 years, or whatever. And I'm telling you, I had people saying, you know, all kinds of things about that decision. And what I'm saying is, it's mindset. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's all about mindset. It's all about knowing what you desire. It's all about being free to desire that, and not allowing anybody to box you in and say, that you can't do this. And so this mindset shift is essential. And some of you are in amazing places in your life. Some of you are, you went from good to great, but if you're going to go from great to that next level, if where you are today is not satisfying what's on the inside of you, then you got to dig a little deeper. But that means you got to shift a little bit in how you think about things and in what you're thinking so that you can push to that next level. And it takes understanding a different set and a different rule. And listen, somebody opened my eyes when I first entertained the thought of private school. I chatted with a colleague whose daughter was at Lovett. And as I was chatting with her, I said, well, I don't understand why pay the money, because I had that same mindset that everybody was shooting at me, right? Like, why pay that money when public school is free and it's all on? But let me just tell you, there's a level of access that is afforded when you are in a private school environment. There were certain things that I knew that my daughter would get in a private school environment. Now, we lost some things. I'm going to be very honest. And she and I have this conversation going back and forth on, do you regret it? What do you think? And I don't regret it. She doesn't either. But we went in very firm on understanding what the expectations were and what we wanted to get out of that experience. And so there were some things that she got out of that experience that she would have never gotten anywhere else. I don't know why I started talking about that. I say all that to say, though, there has to be a mindset shift, because if you can't see yourself doing certain things, walking in certain areas, if you can't see yourself accomplishing certain things, then you won't be able to do it. So you've got to get yourself in that place, in that space of really imagining it, really visioning it out. How many of you still have your 2020 vision board? I have to laugh because I don't think anybody's vision board would be the same if we had known. But isn't that just like life, to blow up your vision board and then tell you to dream bigger? Because that's all this has done for me in 2020. It has blown up my vision board and said, dream bigger, right? It has blown up everything that I expected and said, you were expecting too low. You were shooting too low. You were shooting at a place that I didn't even desire for you to be. So I want to encourage you, if your vision board is all jacked up, listen, have a virtual vision board party. Invite me. I'd love to participate. Let's do a virtual vision board party and let's reshape how we want to end 2020. And y'all may be saying, but Michelle, I can't control that. Yes, you can. If you don't control it, who will? Right? Let me tell you, long are the days, they're gone now, where you say it is what it is. No, baby, no. It is what you make it. And so you have this unique moment now to blow up that vision board and now recreate it, but recreate it at the level that it should have been in, because you were dreaming too low anyway. You were dreaming too low anyway. Your expectations were too low anyway. So now you get that opportunity to absolutely, Princess, reshape it to what you desire to be. So you guys, for the next few weeks, you're going to hear me throwing in money mindset, because you got to get that mind right in order to get to where you want to be. Let me see. What are you saying? Y'all gonna make me put my glasses on. I do. And I had a new home, and my son, to God be the glory, I got my new, see, that's what I'm talking about. See, that is the thing. See, so many people have said, well, it's a pandemic, so that's their excuse to not accomplish anything. Y'all, so what? It's a pandemic. How about we prosper in the pandemic? How about we show up stronger than we've ever shown up in the pandemic, right? I love this. Nah, she got her new house. She got it all. I'm loving that, because that is what you got to do. You got to decide, what will you allow to happen to you in the middle of? And I'm telling you, none of us are exempt from life. None of us are exempt. And here's what I know: you are going to go through some things to get to the things that you desire. Okay, here's my testimony. Hey, Janet Love, good to see you as well. Here's my testimony. And I have been hush about it, only because as I'm processing, I'm learning and I'm listening, because I realize, listen, what I realize, you better say that, my dear, he is so much bigger than a pandemic. What I'm realizing is that every life's experience is not just for me. It's for you. It's for people that I coach and train. It's for the thousands of people that are going to go through my program. It's for anybody who is going to access my services, my coaching, my whatever that's out there, right? And so I got to make sure that I'm hearing the lesson in the process. And so this last week and a half, 2.5 weeks, like, I've been sort of quiet, probably too quiet. But you know what? I had to kind of think and process. So here's what happened. And I know it was nothing but an attack. And for me, it was just an amazing affirmation that I'm in the right place. So about 2 weeks ago, I started having symptoms where I was like, okay, maybe I need to go get a COVID test. I'm just being honest. My throat was hurting. I had a cough. I wasn't feeling well. I had extreme nausea. Like, I was just feeling like blah. So I laid around a couple of days, and then I said, no, I can't do that. So I got up. We have this hill by my house. I walked the hill and sweated and all this other stuff, but I refused to stop moving, because I realized, well, at that point, I wasn't sure what was going on. Okay. So I took, did some things, started drinking hot tea. I have eucalyptus drops, y'all. I think I told you guys that back in November, December, I'm almost certain I had it. I was in bed for 3.5 weeks and actually had a phone call with my kids to say, I'm not going to make it through this weekend. And, but one of the things that was so instrumental for me was eucalyptus drops that I put. They're for your nasal cavity, and they are amazing. So I still have those, still use those. So that passed. Then literally 2 days later, I had a rash that covered my face and an allergic reaction to something. And I had bumps all over my face. Like, it was horrible. And so I was like, okay, what is really going on now? So now I'm alert, right? Then I had some personality things that occurred. I got it, just an attack, right? Just an attack. And then, y'all, to put the icing on the cake, on Wednesday of this past week, Tuesday night, I came in I didn't even get to play a round of golf because I had to deal with some things that needed to be dealt with. And, dealing with people and conflict and all of that. And so I sat down on the sofa Tuesday night and got up to get some water, could not get up, and literally could not walk any further than to my bathroom and to my office for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. My back just started feeling better yesterday. So for 3 days, I was barely walking. Why am I telling you this today? You would have never known had I not told you, because I did do a few lives in the middle of that. But I realized more than anything, when you have determined that you're going to push through the pandemic, the whatever, and the whatever, y'all, you're going to get things that are going to try and block you and try and stop you. The question is, because remember I said, we started this by saying you get to decide. I could make a decision in that moment to get into bed and not. I'm telling you, I remember Friday morning laying on my back, not being able to move. And I was like, okay, God, what we going to do? And I pulled up a message from TD Jakes last Sunday talking about you got to count it all. And I begin to think about how I'm not exempt from going through life's moments and life's I'm just not exempt. You aren't either. Right. And I realized that one of the things that kept me stuck in place as we talk about mindset is there's a scripture that says, of whom much is given, much more is required. And so I got stuck. Because I'm like, okay, God, tell me what that much more is. I can't go no further. I'm tired. Anybody ever just felt tired? Y'all, this is not where I was planning on going. We're going to get to the business side. But this is not where I was planning on going. But have you ever got to the point where you're just tired? And I think that's what I kept saying. Okay, I know much more is required. I know that there's more to be given, but it's that much more is required that's keeping me stuck. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired. Like, y'all, if I could just give y'all a timeline of the last 10 years, a sister is tired. But in the process, y'all, can I tell you, so much joy, so much peace, so much freedom. Like, I'm loving every part of who I am as I turn 50 next month. I'm loving it. Right. So now I have to say is that all of that stuff that, you know what? It was there. It had to happen for me to get to this point of freedom. And so to whom much is required, whatever that is, I will also survive that. So can I tell you to just dig in and go through your process? So you're going to see some more mindset posts from me this week. You're going to see a post, and I really want to hear your thoughts on it. So you got time to think about it. Definitely will be posted on Instagram and I'm sure on Facebook. But what would you tell your younger self? What would you tell your 10-year-old self, your 15-year-old self? What would you go back and say to yourself at the age of 10, at the age of 15? Y'all, I've been creating a list because now I got this grandbaby and I got some things I want to tell her. Right? So what would you tell yourself? So let's talk a little bit about the 5 must-have biz apps, and then I'm going to peace out. 5 must-have biz apps. Okay. So when you're starting a business, right, we know cash flow is like king. So as you are getting your cash flow together, as you are creating a steady stream of revenue, a part of what we do when we start is we have to learn how to get things done and save on our budget so that we can experience the growth that we know how to grow. If you bootstrap like I do for every single business, then what are you doing? You are reinvesting back into your business. You guys have heard my story. First year or so with Edible Arrangements, I didn't make any money. I was fortunately still had some projects that I was working on from an HR standpoint, but there were some points that I didn't. But my goal was to always pay my staff. So my staff can never, ever, ever, ever say that I didn't pay them. They got paid when I didn't get paid. They were paid first. And I remember my accountant telling me that because I was working in the business, that I needed to pay myself my owner's salary. She said, you need to put yourself in payroll and pay yourself your owner's salary. This is a tip. This was a good tip. So I put myself in payroll and I paid myself the owner's salary. Now, for those of you that are looking at full-time self-employment and you're trying to figure out how do you buy a house or how do you whatever, because when I came up in business, I bought a my house was almost $800,000 in Alpharetta, and I did stated. stated income. And this was before the real estate bubble. So you can't do stated anymore. I think you can, but there's some caveats on how much that you can claim as stated income as a business owner. And if any of you are interested in that process, I've got a couple of people that I could make sure you get a conversation with. But when I bought my house, I just bought it via stated income because I didn't have W-2 income at all. So now you got to keep in mind that for most of my 20 something years as self-employed, I didn't have W-2 income. So from 2002, 2001 till I started creating W-2 income with edible arrangements, right? So what my accountant told me to do was to put myself on payroll, and that even if I couldn't cash the checks, at least taxes were being paid, and then it gave me W-2 income. So I paid myself a manager salary. That wasn't the owner's piece. We were a S corp. So as an S corp, then I could do a I could either take a dividend off of it, or I could take an owner's bonus off of it at the end of the year. There were several things that I could do to make sure I got the owner's pay. And typically I did that during our high dollar periods, like so Valentine's, Mother's Day, and Christmas were my times that I could pull a draw. That's what I called it, from the business. And so we set that up so that I would pull an owner's draw from the business. In the other weeks and months, I put myself on payroll with a manager's salary. So what I did was I looked at, what was the manager of Burger King making? What was the manager of a floral shop making, right? I started looking at what was the manager of, something comparable to what we were doing. And in doing that, when I looked at that, and this was up until the business could support me. And this was a way to be able to show W-2 income. So there was a reason for this. Now I'm big on your books. So my P&Ls were tight. I didn't have a problem. Like if I really needed something, and I didn't care about all of that, to be honest, because we kept our books. Like QuickBooks is my friend. I don't like QuickBooks. I didn't like it, but it was my friend. So I put myself in as a manager salary. I think I put it in like $60,000 a year, and I would cut the checks, but not cash them. And then when we had big weeks or big months, then I'd cash 5 or 6 checks at a time. Or I'd cash 10 checks at a time, right? So I would write myself checks and accumulate them but the taxes were still coming out. I was still paying taxes in that way, so that I wasn't paying a self-employment tax as well. And I'm digging a little deep into finances, but I have to do that because as I talk to more and more business owners, one of the biggest challenges is y'all are amazing. Y'all are creative. Y'all are talented. Now, what I find is some, not all, need the assistance with the financial side of it, and really understanding how to make your money work for you and how to make it make sense for you. And again, I think I've shared, my accountant in Huntsville was boss. I mean, she was boss, and her clients were, let's just say she told the secrets, and I appreciated those secrets and took advantage of them. So one of those then apps that you need is, you either need QuickBooks. QuickBooks is about $20 a month. It's QuickBooks Online is what I would recommend. But there's also a freebie out there called Wave, W-A-V-E. And it's a financial app that really helps you. The simple thing, though, is to create an Excel spreadsheet. and to create an Excel spreadsheet where you have an idea of how much revenue is coming in. And I'm like literally down to, if you sell a widget, then how much did you sell that widget for? You also need to know how much you paid for that widget. So I have a friend in that has a product that she sells on creating the systems, the Excel spreadsheets and all of that for the businesses. And I don't have a problem referring her if that's something that you need. I'm still using QuickBooks. Here's the key with QuickBooks. If you are not reconciling your bank statements, you're wasting your time. So you can't send me a P&L. And I have to say this because I'm an angel investor. And so as I'm looking for businesses to invest in, the first thing I want to know is, what do your finances look like? What are your financials? And if you can't send me a financial that has reconciled bank statements, then you're not sending me an accurate financial reporting of your business. So then when I'm digging a little deeper, I'm finding out that you're not as solid as it would appear. And so that is why it is so important. You guys heard what I sold my business for. I sold it for that because, number one, I had an evaluation done of my business. And in doing that valuation, not evaluation, it's a valuation. I want to make sure y'all understand what I'm saying. VALUATION. But I had a company to come in and tell me, what is my business worth? So I was able to sell it because of because I had the documentation to prove what we were making. Not to mention the database, not to mention now, this is something you can take out and on and on and on. So if you're going to have a valuation done at some point of your business, your books need to be in order. Here's another reason why your books need to be in order. If you are doing sales taxes, if you're doing alcohol taxes, y'all, and payroll taxes, the number one reason why small businesses are put out is because we don't pay sales taxes and payroll taxes timely. Now, if you want to see your doors padlocked, then stop paying your sales taxes and stop paying your payroll taxes, because they will show up and do it, right? And a part of that means that you've got your books in line so that you know what to pay for sales taxes. You guys have heard my story. When I first started, I hired thank you, Stephen. I hired a accountant to do my sales taxes. And this accountant charged me $350 a month for my sales taxes, right? And so every month I'm shelling out $350. There's one thing about edible arrangements. There were a few things, but one thing in particular I want to mention that I appreciated about them was they wanted you as an owner to work in the business. They didn't require it. Chick-fil-A requires it, but they strongly are. In fact, a part of you won't get approved in many cases with EA if you are not willing to work in the business. And this is why you need to know, like I knew down to the pennies, if I was making money, losing money, and if somebody was stealing from me, right? And because you need to be so in tune with how you make money and how you keep money. That's the other thing. I can tell you that I'm making, $500,000, but if I'm blowing out $600,000, I ain't making jack. Right? So don't listen at everything that people say about, oh, I'm making this and I'm making that. That's great. But how much are you keeping? How much is going into your savings account? How much is going into your investment accounts? How many of you even have someone to manage your investment account? That's a totally different story. What I'm saying is it's great to have it coming in, but if you are not managing your money properly, you will not know what's going out and you won't know how to make corrections and adjustments. I'll give you an example. We may only get to one app. Why don't we just do one today? We'll just do Wave and finances today, and then I'll come back and do another one tomorrow. Let me give you an example. My cost of goods sold ran around 18 to 23%. What does that mean? What that means is if that I just drew a blank. My cost of what it cost me to make my product, right? So the percentage of my gross revenue, it took about 18 to 20% of my gross revenue to make my product. So my net is what's left over, right? Minus my expenses. So I've got to spend this 18 to 23% regardless, because that's what it costs to make my product, right? So the first thing, especially if you are product driven, if you've got a product business or even a service business, you need to know what it takes to produce what you produce. If you are selling widgets, you need to know how much are you buying your widgets for? How much is the shipping that's associated with them? You got to know if you are putting together, like I have people who do sewing, or I'll give you an example. Amazing client of mine, Brandy, look her up. She sells candles, butterfly candles. They're beautiful, beautiful candles. Brandy, if you're on, tag yourself, tag your candle business. Y'all go support her. Beautiful, right? But what we're getting down to is how much is she making? What is her net profit once she makes the candles? So all the supplies that go with making a candle, now let's say it takes her, it cost her $5 to make a candle and she's selling it for $7. Guess what, y'all? She ain't making no money because she's still got overhead costs. She's still got other costs that are associated with it. And so if you don't understand what it costs for you to make your product, then you'll not know how to price your product so that you can meet your overhead, meet your this. That's the other reason. Now, y'all got me going. That's the other reason that we have challenges, is because that mindset tells us I can't charge $20 for a candle. I'm not saying that's her situation. I'm just using that as an example, right? Because when we start saying $20 for a candle, we don't think about Bed Bath and Body Works or whatever those candle places are, Yankee Candle and all of that. They'll sell a $50 candle and somebody will buy it. But what we put into that pricing is, they're going to think I think I'm this. Ain't nobody gonna buy a $50 candle from me or a $20 candle from me. What? I can't even buy a $20 candle. So why do I think anybody else would buy a $20? Do you see how your mindset just totally jacked up your profit and you have zero revenue? Your mindset just jacked yourself up, and now you talked yourself out of your business model being successful because you won't charge what you think is its worth because of mindset. Do you see why I'm focusing on mindset? Because let me tell you, your mindset will have you charging people $5 for a candle that costs you $10 to make, or $4.99 to make, and you have zero profit. So if you following me, my goal is to help you scale your business to multiple six figures. My goal is to show you how I did it, and this is a part of how I did it. It is really understanding what am I looking at and what makes sense. Like I can't. When I hired customer service reps at Edible Arrangements, one of the things I had to tell them was, do not sell my product based on what you have in your pocketbook. I just messed some of y'all up. Y'all think I'm rude. They used to think I was rude too. Rude. You ain't getting ready to mess up my money. I had where's Alicia? I wish Alicia was on here because she would tell you, anybody worked for me in Edible Arrangements would tell, do not sell my product based on how much money you got in your pocketbook. Because, come on, y'all, some of you are selling your product or not selling it based on your own self-limiting beliefs, based on your place of where you're at, based on the things you're experiencing. And that has nothing to do with how you sell your product. If you don't have the confidence, come on now, Raheem, Steelers in the house. Y'all something else. Y'all getting me going. If you don't have the confidence if you don't have the confidence to sell your product in the way that you should, then you need to readjust your mindset, because guess what? You just said it, Princess. Some people can afford it. Everybody's pocketbook don't look like yours. And the value that you may put on it may be different than what somebody else. So people used to wonder how you stay in business. You're selling fruit arrangements for $80. Yeah, and then my favorite were the people who, thought they knew me and felt free enough to tell me, well, I can go to Kroger and get a cantaloupe. I said, okay, bye. You just not my customer, boo. And I'm okay with that, because I got 10,000 other people who say, nah, I want you to get the cantaloupe, and I want you to cut the cantaloupe up, and I want you to put it in that pretty little flower shape, and I want you to add some grapes to it. And oh, by the way, $14 to dip my strawberries in chocolate. Oh, dip them all for $22. Add some more to that. Oh, y'all do chocolate dip bananas, and that's an extra $20. Add them on there too. So by the time I cash them out, it's $140 for some fruit on the stick. Yes, you go to Kroger and I'm going to take care of this person. Right? That's what I'm saying. Guys, you got to realize, Miss Kathy, you are so welcome. I'm off the chain today. I keep saying in the back of my mind, calm down, girl. Calm down, girl. I just can't do it. So, but that means though, that your mindset then has to understand what your pricing ought to be. Yeah, I can't wait. This is one of my favorite modules that we deal with in Pivot to Profit. We deal with finances and we deal with pricing. And let me just say this, there is no one size fits all. What works for you, my goal is to give you a framework to help you understand what you should be thinking about. Not to make those decisions for you. I never want to make those decisions for you. What I want to give you is a framework and listen, Linda, the framework and the freedom. Because sometimes what I'm saying, I just freed somebody. Like I just freed somebody that, baby, I can charge $25 for a candle, and you can. I just freed somebody that it's okay. I don't have to be the cheapest on the market. No, you just need to find the customer that who want what you got. You don't have to devalue your service. You don't have to devalue your product, nor do you have to devalue what you bring to the table, right? You just need to find the right audience. And so I just freed somebody. Because it's all about having the freedom to realize it is okay to walk in that. It is okay, as Edible Arrangements taught us, to charge $80 for a basket of fruit on a stick that somebody else cut up. It's okay. Right? And so you got to realize that money mindset. The other 4 apps that we're going to cover is Canva. I love Canva. I am so not I'm not creative in that sense. I don't know how to put stuff together like that, but I can't pay somebody today. Actually, I do pay somebody. But anyway, I still like to do my own ad hoc stuff. To do my social media stuff. So Canva is life for me. Or as my girl Cece would say, Canva is bae. Instagram was bae for her. Canva is bae for me. My Canva king. Oh, I love me some Canva. Codebook is my 3rd app. Love Codebook. The next app would be Trello. Here we go. There you go. Go on and tell them now. There you go. There you go. You got to find the champagne people. If you got a beer, they're not even going to appreciate it. They're not going to appreciate it. And sometimes that's your friends. So stop trying to sell everything to your friends. Just love them and leave them, just keep it like that. Just love them and then go find your cut. They're not your customer. And that is okay. And then Slack. Slack is my other app. I'm also, my blog on the 5 must-have apps will be out Tuesday or Wednesday. I got to look at the schedule. But either way, if you miss my live, since I went so much into finances on this one, then you can jump in and catch the other 4 on the blog. All right. I love y'all. I cooked dinner. Yay. So it's time for me to go eat my dinner with my family. I hope that was good for you. It was good for me. I love talking money and finances and how to grow your business. So take these. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to be added to the 5-day money challenge in advance, again, we just had a few technical difficulties getting all that straightened out. Drop your email address in the chat. Drop your email address in the chat. And I'm out. Deuces. Y'all be blessed. Woohoo. We're out of here.